Good afternoon, everyone, to our beloved Dr. Briones, Dr. Habiba, and to our chair, Sainal, and to my fellow governing board, friends and colleagues, mabuhay from the Philippines. Ayan. I'm going to present to you the Department of Education's computerization program. So we conceptualized it maybe 8 months ago. So this is freshly baked. I just assumed office as the ICTS director last January 16. Ayan. So the DepEd Computerization program has been around since 1997. But during 2010, it was institutionalized as DCP, which is the DepEd Computerization Program. It aims to give out ICT packages to our K-12 public schools and integrate teaching, ICT in teaching and learning, as well as to raise ICT competencies. That's what we're talking of skills, knowledge, as well as the value proposition of students, teachers, and school heads, and at the same time, improve the placement of the then obsolete ICT packages. Just 2 months ago, we have revitalized the guideline for ICT packages. In needs of the time, it's been not revised for the last 13 years, but now we are focusing on providing complete and quality computer laboratory packages. At the same time, we want all classrooms in the Philippines to have smart TV packages, very ambitious, and to provide the relevant and necessary software, hardware training, and other programs for our teaching and non-teaching personnel, at the same time to provide that needed infrastructure across different offices, from the central office to the regional offices to the division and district, as well as to the schools themselves. And at the same time, while doing this, we really want to upgrade and strengthen the competencies of teachers, students, school leaders, non-teaching personnel, because we know how important it is that all stakeholders in the educational space would have that heightened ICT competency. So in the Philippines, as I mentioned, we have 45,000 schools. This is 53,000 by school level, meaning you can just imagine the landscape. We have around 39,000 classrooms. We have around 861,000 teachers. We are at 77.75%. This is still debatable up on the type of internet that the schools do have. And then we do have 91.94% of our schools would have electricity. This is 23,000 learners as of the recent enrollment. Previously, last year, we have around, for the school year, we have around 28,000. So you could see the landscape of how big our stakeholders are. So when we crafted this, so we crafted a cycle in which we would do the scoping, procurement, deployment, training, and monitoring and assessment. This is the first time that within the Department of Education, we went from one office to the other, including curriculum strand, BHR, the human resources, personnel, finance, and all other offices to give us an overview of their ask, and at the same time, give us visibility of the program softwares that we need to include, because this DCP will not only be used for teaching and learning, but as well as different level of governance. And of course, when we were reconfiguring what would be the new innovative approach on the DepEd Computerization program, we took into account on the pandemic. What is imperative during the pandemic is the use of technology. Before the pandemic, it was a distraction. But during the pandemic, it becomes imperative on how we respond and recover from the pandemic. And right now, we are in the reconfiguration state. How do we reconfigure that? But we cannot do away with the learnings in terms of technology during the pandemic. As I mentioned earlier, the EdTech ecosystem is poised to grow $1 trillion by 2030. And that is really a great opportunity, as there are a lot of open educational resources available, the OERs. And we also look at our learning loss. This is very, very disheartening for us in the Philippines. As you could see in the 2020 report of the World Bank, um, only 5% of our schools are not, of our learners are not in school. That is 5% learning deprivation. But 5% school deprivation, but our learning poverty is pegged at 90%. It means to say that the 95% inside the school, 90% of that is not learning. And considering SEA PLM, the teams, and the PISA results, around 72% of our students are in the learning loss stage. So we were looking at really innovative edtech solutions on how we could center on numeracy, literacy, English, math, science, and some other core subjects that should be embedded with the technology in order to at least augment our learning loss. We look at also at our K-12 curriculum. This was launched in 2012. Just a few months ago, we have launched the revised K-10 curriculum. During the pandemic, we have launched the MELCs, the most essential learning competencies. Some of you are discussing how do you decongest the curriculum. And during the most essential learning competencies, 60% of the numbers of competencies has been deleted, deduced, subsumed to competencies. And now, that MELCs is again reduced, which is our revitalized K-10 curriculum. 11 and 12 are in review. We also look at the basic 4 C's of 21st century education: collaboration, critical thinking, communication, and creativity, and expanded into other C's. We also look at the world of work. How would our students be able to function? Because in the K-12, we have 4 exits. That would be the academic, the entrepreneurship, and tech voc, and I forgot the other exit. But we look into how our ICT equipment should be able to be utilized inside the K-12 that would upskill, reskill, and multiskill our students no matter what particular exit they would choose to. And of course, we look at the ever-evolving learning resource. May it be text-based, visual-based. As I mentioned also, the next generation of learning environment would be focusing on the humanistic or the human side of technology. May it be generative AI or cloud computing or data analytics. And may it be also immersive technologies like AR, AVR, or even MRs. Our ICT equipment should be able to at least be able to run those programs. And of course, we look also into the rationale of learning delivery. During the pandemic, most of our students are in SLM, that is the self-learning modules. Our private schools, or rich private schools, are into learning management system. Some are in blended, hybrid. So we want also that ICT equipment to be able to function whether online, inside the classroom, or at least be able to support our resources for printing for the SML. And also, we are also looking at that particular ICT equipment to be utilized for alternative learning systems during the evening or during the weekend. It could also be used by ADM, which is our alternative delivery mode. So we want that system to really be integrated into the school and even in other delivery modes. We also look at how those equipment would be utilized simultaneously. As you could see, we have very limited budget. So since we are giving schools e-learning card, and there are 45 students inside each classroom and 1 teacher, if they're doing assessment, then it could be one-on-one. If they're doing group or pair, it could be 2 classrooms utilizing the same computer laboratory because it's a movable laboratory. If they're doing group collaboration, and then it could be 4 classrooms at the same time using that particular laboratory. And also, we look at how this ICT equipment could be utilized for classroom and school management. So we want it to be utilized by principals. We want it to be utilized by school leaders, by teachers, especially when they are doing research or when they are doing their professional development. Most of our information, all of our information systems should be able to run also in this equipment. They could be borrowed by the teachers or other personnel also in the department. So we want that ICT equipment to be robust enough that it could be utilized for teaching, for learning, for professional development, for research, for performance, for other information systems. And at the same time, we look into how the DepEd was able to deploy technologies across the years. So right now, we are looking at our selection criteria for school is that they would receive this e-learning card if they haven't received any DCP for the last 5 years. At least they have electricity, and or their equipment has been battered by typhoon or some other natural causes. And we also look at the school monitoring and assessment. So is there really a need to put technology inside the classroom? I think we all have that resounding answer, which is yes. But we want it to be empirically proven on how this technology really augment learning at the same time heightened their corresponding learning. So we look at how this previous equipment are being utilized for teaching and learning. And this is what so we will be giving around 47 laptops, each and 2 charging stations. So in each charging station, as I mentioned, there will be 46, around 24 laptops, 23 laptops. And then we have also 1 smart TV, which would be logged to our room, and 1 external hard drive. Why external hard drive? Because our LRs, our learning portals, our learning resources would be logged into that corresponding external drive. So whether, as you remember, 77%, that is debatable into 69% of our school are in connectivity, because even if the school is not connected, we could give out the e-learning cards. The teachers could get the resources from the hard drive or the laptops themselves. We also accommodated 2 routers, 1 per each, because we are going to teach if there is a bandwidth connection, then they could connect it to the internet. But if not, we're going to teach our teachers how to connect intranet using the routers. So the 23 laptops could still communicate with one another via the router and cast on learning resources and activities that are needed. And as I mentioned, we are also embarking on providing smart television in each of the classroom in the Philippines. By the way, for the e-learning card, we are targeting for the first 2 years the secondary schools. These are the junior high school and the senior high school. Because I've mentioned, we want to prepare them for the life of work. So they have to be immersed with existing technologies like laptops, charging stations, and even the routers. And for the smart TV, we are giving this for the first 2 years for elementary school, because kids needs to have that multimedia content, etc., etc. Because we cannot give all during the first 5 years because we need a lot of budget for this. And of course, we do have laptop for teaching and non-teaching. We call it laptop for teaching, not laptop for teachers. Because in each schools, we're going to give 5 laptops, which could be should be shared by all the teachers. It would be given to the principal, and whoever teacher would want to use it, they can borrow. We cannot at this point give individual laptops to individual teachers. We don't have a budget for that. And also, this is laptop for non-teaching personnel. This is our AO, administrative officers. So it's the same functionality. We would give it to the division office, and each AO who would want to use it would need to borrow it, because at this time we don't have that budget to give one by one to our students, to our teachers. And of course, we also decided on what particular software content. So we have the productivity tool. We have asked Microsoft to furnish us with the offline version of the productivity tool. So it means to say that all our laptops, whether offline or online, would have that usual PowerPoint presentation, Excel, Microsoft Word, that they don't need to log in. And of course, we have the device management, so that we would have that robust data analytics on the utilization, because as we mentioned, we want that laptop working for 8 hours in a day, even beyond classrooms. And we will be launching the Matatag portal. This is something like the SLM of Singapore, and at the same time like the Delima of Brunei. And we have started doing the business intelligence and data analytics. This is Power BI. So we are now teaching, we started with the central office. We are teaching all units to create their own dashboards. So if you are in personnel, that would be the personal dashboard. If you are in finance, you should have your corresponding dashboards. And of course, we want to augment the literacy by collaborating again with the reading team's progress report. So we would launch that at the start of the next school year, in which we would train teachers. My question earlier was, do you train all the teachers or just the English teachers? So that is a good input to our program. And we also have the digital and new media tools for our tech box senior high school in preparation for their life of work. And we also formulated the training framework. So we want our training framework to be learner-centered. It should be outcome-based. It should be flipped. Each training, all corresponding participants should be enrolled in our learning management system, which is powered by Moodle, 2 weeks in advance, so that they should be able to, study all corresponding contents. All our materials should be reusable, and they should be authentic. And we also incorporated in our portal the accessibility and usability option, because of the special needs schools, special need children, especially children or our learners with learning difficulties, utilizing the power of universal design for learning by UNESCO. And these are some of the trainings, of course, operating system. As you could see, there are a lot of training on teaching and learning with technology, TV for learning and technology, different modalities, assessment using technology, as well as there is also a highlight on health and wellness in technology in learning and teaching. We are also embarking with some partners on how, just like Brunei, we could harness the power of micro-credentialing. Although this is being done via the NAEP, the National Educators Academy of the Philippines. We will do this in collaboration with them. And this is our Matatag portal. Matatag means in Filipino language, resilient. And the Matatag academic agenda has been launched by our VP Secretary last February 2023 with 54 key points agenda. And we are now trying to align everything that we do in ICTS in order to subsume to what the VP Sec, as we call VP Sara, the VP Sec wants to vision and mission for the Department of Education. So this is not live yet. I will not do a demo just like Sena. But We will launch this before the end of the year. So if you click on the learner, it would go to the learning portal. So we do have also a learning portal which contains text, videos, lesson plans, skill building activities, etc., etc. It will also go to the LMS, which is the Learning Management System powered by Moodle. So we do have courses across the K-12. Right now, we are formulating the protocols, practices, and standards and formats because as I've mentioned, there are some things that we need to improve on. And also, our learners go click on taking exams. So this is an exam. Say, for example, the National Learning Camp, which is maybe around a month ago, all the pre-tests are done using the NLC portal. So that's for our learners. So far, we have 3. And for our teachers, it's almost the same, but another level of governance because it would log into the learning portal where our teachers could create resources vetted by DepEd already. So these are your usual multimedia content, our self-learning modules, etc., etc. Also the LMS, in which they would be admin of sorts because they could create resources, they could create courses, and of course for exams. And for parents, we are still looking at whether they could create content also from the LR, but we are looking at whether we would allow our parents to see the learning management system, the submissions and the outline of the course. For our stakeholders, and for administrators, these are our information system. These are our HRIS, LIS, BEIS, etc., etc. For other stakeholders, we do have some other sites for stakeholders. Say, for example, if you are our partner, you could log into that particular site, which is our stake EPS site, which is external partnership site, in which you could review all the previous programs of the Department of Education with corresponding donors and where you could augment or help out. And the Matatag portal also contains our school calendar. We also have the risk management app that students and teachers could download if there are storms, earthquakes, and the like. They could report using the app. And there is a host of other information system. As you could see, we have there the quick links, and then the e-library would contain now resources. I was thinking of what Sainal has presented. Maybe we could have also the library of all the apps, of all the available open resource apps that our students could utilize. We could put that in the e-library. And of course, you could click on the dashboard. The dashboards would contain the ecosystem of the DepEd from 2021, 2022, because we haven't finalized the 2023 enrollment or the 2023 stat. And also, in that particular e-lib or in dashboards, we are putting forth most of our data that, that could be utilized by the researchers across the national scope to help us conduct research and give us visibility on the empirical analysis to aid us in policy direction. So, but we are just sorting what particular data could be given. Of course, there should be no name of students pointing to a particular group or the data privacy law, etc., etc. So hopefully, from all your presentation, I have taken a lot of key learnings that we would factor into our Matatag portal. Bansang makabata means learners, a country whose priority are its learners. And batang makabansa means learners that are in love with the Philippines. Something to that effect. And of course, these are the whole gamut of our information system. So we have around 21 of them. Could just imagine some of them are being built, some of them are being maintained, some of them are with our partners. And we want these systems to also be cascaded into our regional, into our division, into our district. Say, for example, the HR system or the payroll system, the HRIS system. We want it also to be cascaded to regional and division offices. And of course, as mentioned by some of you, there should be a robust network infrastructure behind all of this. So we are now designing or redesigning the network system of the central office. We have solicited recommendation from the regional and division office in terms of putting that robust system that is secure, safe, and at the same time robust enough to cascade everything that we envision, the technology for education in the Philippines. With that, thank you very much.